Welcome to my podcast. Today I want to talk to you about love, and I want to talk to you from an energetic point of view because love is an energy, obviously, and as my friend Drew says, it's a doing word. It's very important to understand that not everybody, one comes from love. Most people come from power and control. But the other thing is that a lot of people don't have the capacity to give great love. I've checked people out and checked their auras out, and it's really interesting when I ask them my pendulum, how much do they have capacity to love? And some people just don't have a very big capacity to love, and other people have a very big capacity to love. Usually you find that people who have the really big capacity to love have got very big heart chakras, and people who've got less capacity, it's diminished in that area energetically. And the reason that they have less capacity is a few. I feel there's a genetic component that we're genetically wired. And so when we're born, if our dad wasn't very good at giving love, he didn't have much capacity, we might inherit that genetic trait. Or if our mum was really loving and very kind, we might inherit that trait and have a greater capacity. Regardless of that, you can increase your capacity to love. It's like an action thing that you do. So you always try to come from love, and you always try to be loving to people, and you always give them the benefit of the doubt, and you always be patient with them. And of course, you always use unconditional love. You know, when you're angry with them, you don't punish them, you don't tell them off, you don't be mean to them. This first part, the genetic part, is inherent. I really believe that. However, we can actually increase our capacity to love, even with that. The other reason people don't have a capacity to love is because they switched it off earlier in their life, maybe with their mum or dad, or some relationships they had. They got hurt, so they just switched it down. They closed down. They closed down their heart, closed down their heart chakra, and they don't give love. They don't give it anymore because it's kind of a trust thing that comes with giving love. You have to trust that, well, you won't get hurt, but you also have to trust that what you're doing is the best thing to do. Therefore, a lot of people who've been seriously injured emotionally, they will then diminish their capacity to give love. The reason I'm doing this particular podcast is that it might help you understand why you're having trouble with some people. Now, you know that they love you, right? That's a given. But they don't give it. And when they do give it, it's like, you're giving the bucket and they're giving like the little thimble or the little cup. But if their cup is full to the top and your bucket's full to the top, at least their capacity is that much. And I think with those people, you just need to understand that's all they can do. They have a diminished capacity to give love for various reasons. And you just have to sit with that and keep reminding yourself that they do love you. They just can't give it. It's not part of their plan right now. We are actually here to learn how to love and to give love and receive love as well. And you'll find people who don't give love actually have a little bit of trouble receiving love. And when I went and energetically checked how much love was in their heart, it was really, really small, even though they are surrounded by people who love them. They are kind of, for whatever reason, their energy, they are starved of love. So I suggest that you send more love to their heart. Just keep sending love to their heart, even if they're being a little bit of a rat bag and they're not being very loving when they should be. Just can keep sending love to their heart and ask Spirit to open up their heart again. Because what they've done on a level is, whether it's genetic or whether it's environmental, they've actually closed their heart chakra down. Keep being loving. Open up your heart chakra. Open up your capacity to love. Keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's love for yourself and love for others and love for the world and the plants and the animals, etc. It's like exercise. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And the more you use your love muscle, the more you love, the better your world will be. And give the love without expectation. That's probably really hard to do because we're so human, aren't we? But try and give the love with not expecting anything back. Just send it out there and just do it. And if they just send you a little dribble, a few little drops back, well, that's okay, because at their place that they're standing in, they're not capable of doing much more. I noticed that people who are spiritual could also be like this. They could be quite a spiritual person and yet they don't give it be aware of that. You'll just think spiritual people just give it and religious people just give it. I notice that isn't always the case. They don't always give it because of these other reasons. You will feel unnourished by them, love-wise, these people, in your life, in your family, in your friendship group, at work. It will be an unnourishing relationship. When you've had connection with them, afterwards you won't feel nourished. You might be nourishing them by giving love, but you won't feel nourished. And even when it comes back, it kind of feels, when they I love you, it feels hollow. That's the only word I could use for it, because you can't feel the energy of the love. It's just like the words. Don't be harsh on people who haven't got a capacity to love like you do. It's just the way it is. We're all different, okay? And their path is different to ours. You will also find that people who have a lot of trouble giving love usually have a lot of control issues and a lot of power issues. And they'll often come very easily from control and power because they're comfortable with that. But they see love as making them weak or vulnerable. I remember someone once said to me, someone who loved me and who had trouble with their capacity, and they said to me in a very open moment, I don't like that I love you so much because it makes me feel vulnerable, which I thought was really an interesting way they thought or how they felt, but I understood it because to be loving to someone means you open your heart so you could actually get hurt again. See, that's also why I'm saying to you, these people obviously don't do it. But the more we love people, the more we give them love, the more we nourish them, the more love they have in their aura, and maybe their capacity increases. Energetically, it's really interesting. If you start to look around in your group of people around you, who you feel nourished by, they will be the ones you should go to when you need nourishment from a love point of view. The other ones where you don't feel nourished, they're probably not your best bet to go to if you feel like you need some love filling up, because you won't get it. And you'll come away feeling kind of empty because nothing came back, because it's all energy, isn't it? It's like you're flowing out the love and like you're standing there, but nothing much is coming back in because they don't actually give it. You go with your other friend or family member, you're flowing out the love and you feel the love flowing back into your aura, and that's the difference you'll feel. I also had this thing where if someone said something to me, like, oh, I really love you lots, sometimes I couldn't feel it. And at first I couldn't work out what that was, but then I realised that they weren't sending the love energy. I couldn't feel it. They said it, but I couldn't feel it. You can feel love. That's the best way. It's not a head thing, love. You can feel it. It's an energy. This podcast I did because I suspect you're quite a loving person, especially if you're trying to come from working on yourself and helping other people and sending love. So I expect to think that you're probably a person who is quite capable of giving a lot of love, and I encourage you to keep doing that. Just make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more and more and more, because remember, it's going to only nourish everybody else. And then also love yourself. Love yourself and be nice to yourself. I think you probably also know what I'm talking about because you have people around you that you don't feel nourished by. Now you'll energetically understand what's happening. It's like yours is just flowing out, and then it comes to them, there's like nothing much coming, little drips and drabs here, and you can't feel it energetically because it's not happening. And that does not mean they don't love you. They actually do. They just can't send it. They can't manifest it. It doesn't come out, whatever the reasons are. And you need to be forgiving of that and understanding and not judgmental about it. Just make your expectations really low with those people, very low expectation. That's how they are now. And don't take it personally. They're probably like that to pretty much everybody. It's just who they are, and you need to accept that energetically. But I wanted to do this podcast to get you to understand the energy implications of that. I found that I don't particularly go to them when I feel like I need a loving response, because I'm not going to get it. And that's another way you'll tell with them. They'll be awkward when you appeal to them from that thing that you need some loving response. They'll tell you to go to the doctor or go and speak to somebody or change the subject or just basically ignore you, and you'll just be left with the sentence hanging in the air. That's how you know they're not going to give it to you. If you have some people who are capable of giving great love, I suggest you spend a lot of time with them. They're good. And with the other ones, I would send them a lot of love. I would just and I send it to the actual heart. Like I send heart chakra into the heart, and I keep sending love there because I think they're deprived of love, and so they need more than others. So that's today's podcast, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gets you to understand what's happening around you in the love department. Okay, I hope sending you lots of love and lots of light.